The wealthy CEO's family had been pushing him to go on blind dates, so he showed up at a coffee shop for yet another one. To his shock, the person waiting turned out to be his first love. The CEO stared at her in disbelief, but in the next moment, his actual blind date arrived. The woman realized she had been sitting at the wrong table and quickly rushed over to the one across from him. The CEO watched her retreating figure, his mind drifting back to their first encounter. 10 years ago, the CEO had been preparing to get off a bus when the driver noticed him and a sleeping girl wearing matching school uniforms. Assuming they were friends, the driver asked him to wake her so they could get off together. Left with no choice, the CEO approached and tried to wake her, but no matter how many times he called out, she didn't respond. Finally, he grabbed her backpack and tugged it. She jolted awake instantly. The two walked towards school together. Walking ahead of him, she spotted teachers catching late students and immediately panicked. Turning around, she noticed the CEO had an injured foot. She quietly moved closer and, when he wasn't paying attention, began helping him walk forward, hoping to use assisting him as an excuse to avoid punishment. However, the CEO called out her scheme on the spot. That was how their rivalry began. After returning to his classroom, the CEO discovered an extra book in his bag that she had slipped in without him noticing. During class, the CEO spotted her outside the classroom. She saw him too and happily waved at him. From that day on, the CEO found himself frequently noticing her. One day, she suddenly handed the CEO a letter. He felt excited until he learned she was delivering it on behalf of her best friend. His spirits immediately sank. Not long after, the CEO went abroad to study. 10 years later, shortly after returning to the country, the CEO was called to a blind date. When he saw her sitting across from him, his heart still leaped with joy. Learning she had taken the wrong seat brought another wave of disappointment. Throughout the actual blind date, his mind remained fixated on her. After the date ended, the CEO still searched for any sign of her. Suddenly, he caught sight of her in his rearview mirror eating at a street food stall. He stopped his car and walked over. Standing beside her, he ordered the same food from the vendor. While eating, the CEO asked if she still recognized him. She did recognize the CEO. He wondered why she hadn't greeted him earlier at the coffee shop. She didn't answer and instead asked why he had returned when he was supposed to be abroad. The CEO explained that work had brought him back temporarily. Hoping to extend their conversation, he asked about their other classmates. She took the initiative to ask for his contact information, then left. After returning home, the CEO kept his eyes glued to his phone, waiting for her to message him. Several days later, the CEO received a phone call. Thinking it was her, he answered eagerly, only to discover it was her best friend calling. His disappointment was immediate. The best friend invited the CEO to a group dinner. The CEO was about to decline when he heard her voice in the background and immediately agreed. Just as he was about to ask the best friend to pass the phone to her, she hung up. The CEO had no choice but to attend the gathering. When he arrived at the restaurant, the CEO looked around but didn't see her anywhere.